Alanis Morissette is one of the most groundbreaking and prolific artists in modern history. Her raw lyricism and original musical compositions rocked the world and continue to inspire young artists and music lovers to this day. But there's a pretty good chance that the incredibly true life story of Alanis Morissette goes back even further and deeper than you realize. I'm Scott T. Sterling, and we'll reveal the details that you ought to know on a brand new episode of the RHINO Report. With her greatest hits in Morissette, The Collection, arriving on vinyl for the very first time as of today, August 25th, we're taking a look back at what makes Alanis Morissette one of the greatest of all time. Alanis' creative journey began when she started taking piano lessons at the age of 6 and was writing original music before the age of 10. It was during junior high school when Morissette first appeared on the Nickelodeon TV series, You Can't Do That on Television! The young artist used the money she made on the Nickelodeon show to finance her very first studio recordings and record her first single. At the tender age of 14, Alanis Morissette signed a recording contract that resulted in her dance pop debut, Alanis, which went on to sell more than 100,000 copies and earned the young singer her very first Juno Award. Alanis Morissette's second album, Now Is the Time, and was another Canadian hit, selling more than 50,000 copies. Now at this point, Alanis made a bold decision. After graduating from high school, she left Canada and her dance pop stardom behind to move where else? Right here to Los Angeles, California, to make an entirely different kind of music. Landing in LA, Morissette soon connected with songwriter-producer Glenn Ballard. Alanis then set her stark, soul-bearing lyricism to a heavy and aggressive guitar-powered sound. Wanting a new label for her brash new music, the artist signed with Madonna's Maverick Records. The result, Alanis Morissette's third studio album, Jagged Little Pill. Now, Jagged Little Pill went on to become one of the best-selling albums of all time. It currently sits at number 13 on that very exclusive list, with 33 million copies sold worldwide. The record made Alanis the first Canadian to top the Billboard 200, as well as the distinction of having the first double diamond album in Canada. But international smash success wasn't a foregone conclusion for Jagged Little Pill. The breakthrough started when legendary Los Angeles radio station K-Rock put the album's lead single, You Ought to Know, into heavy rotation. The bombastic track generated such a reaction among listeners that K-Rock's then music director, Liesl once said that the track, quote, seriously was one of the biggest phone reactions I've ever seen in the history of the station. Fun fact, helping give You Ought to Know authentic 1990s rock energy were none less than Red Hot Chili Peppers legend Flea, who plays bass on the track, as well as Jane's Addiction icon Dave Navarro, who plays guitar on the recording. Soon, You Ought to Know was racing up the charts and radio playlists across the country, and then around the world. In 1996, Alanis was nominated for 6 Grammys, winning 4 and becoming the youngest artist to win the Grammy for Album of the Year, a title she held onto for 14 years until it was claimed by one Miss Taylor Swift. Morissette also took home Best Rock Album and Best Rock Song for, what else? You Ought to Know. You Ought to Know holds the distinction of being the first song in Grammy history to contain an expletive, which was famously censored during her acoustic performance of the track at the 1996 awards. Jagged Little Pill was an early high watermark for Alanis, who over the course of a long and storied career has released 7 more studio albums. She has acted and appeared in dozens of films and TV shows, including Curb Your Enthusiasm. She also started a podcast, wrote a Tony Award-winning musical version of Jagged Little Pill, and got inducted into the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame. Alanis. We at the RHINO Report salute you, and we are proud to celebrate Alanis with the release of her 2005 compilation, The Collection, on vinyl for the very first time. The LP is available on black vinyl, as well as a transparent grape vinyl version available exclusively at Target. Your local indie retailers will have their own exclusive in the form of a crystal clear edition. Don't forget to like and subscribe to RHINO Report for new editions and episodes every Friday afternoon.